And we are in line 38c, that says, yes, many a time he turned his anger away and did not stir up all his wrath. And so that sends us to Isaiah 48:9. Isaiah 48:9, that says, for my name's sake I will defer my anger, and for my praise I will restrain it from you, so that I do not cut you off. And so that's the only way that God doesn't cut us off, is for his own name's sake. So that's when he's going to defer or delay his anger. And so that sends us to Ezekiel 29. Well, we're not going to cover those because we'll just leave those alone. But anyway, if you want to do it on your own time, is Ezekiel 29, 20 verse 9, verse 14, and 22 and 44. And then it also sends us back to 78:38, which sent us there. So let's go back to 78, Psalm 78, that says in 39, for he remembered that they were but flesh, a breath that passes away and does not come again. So, for he remembered that they were but flesh, made out of flesh, a breath that passes away and does not come again. And so now that sends us to Job 10:9, where it says, for he remembered that they were flesh. Job 10:9. Job 10:9, that says, remember, I pray that you have made me like clay, and you will turn me into the dust again. And so that sends us back to Genesis, when God created us out of dust, or Adam out of dust, because a woman comes from a bone. That's why we're stronger than men. Yay. No, just teasing. Anyway, so, and then that sends us to John 3:6 as well. So John 3:6, I didn't mark any of these. John 3:6, that says, that which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit. And so basically, whatever this was born of flesh, Adam, and whatever is born of spirit, Jesus, our second Adam. So, and then also it sends us back to Job, where it talks about, for this one, that says a breath that passes away and does not come again. And so that sends us to Job 7 and 16. So going back to Job. Job 7 and 7, that says, oh, remember that my life is a breath, my eye will never again see good. All right, so that's Job talking about his continued trials. And also in 16, he says, I loathe my life, I will not live forever. Let me alone, for my days are but a breath. And then so he sends us, that sends us to Job 10:1, that says, my soul loathes my life, I will give free course to my complaint. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. And then also Job 7:16 sends us to Job 14:6, that says, look away from him that he may rest, till like a hired man he finishes his day. And so and then that sends us back to Job 7:1, and also to Psalm 39:13. So 39:13. Just talking about just how weak we are. 39:13, that says, remove your gaze from me, that I may regain strength. before I go away and am no more. So let's go back to Psalm 78. Then it says, moving into line 40, it says, how often they provoked him in the wilderness and grieved him in the desert. And so that sends us to Hebrews 3:16, but we already covered that already in context when we talked about that in line 17. So how often they provoked him, or that means rebelled against him and grieved him in the desert. Then it says in 41, yes, again and again they tempted God and limited the Holy One of Israel. And that sends us to Numbers 14:22. That says, because of all these men who have seen my glory in the signs which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have put me to the test now these 10 times, and have not heeded my voice. And so God, he was just pretty much done. He was done. And so we're not done. We're just going to break right here, and I'll see you in the next segment.